So, it is finally time to wrap up this series that I've done. And you know, it's funny because I did the Survivor series last year and, late last year. And I thought, you know, maybe I should do a WrestleMania one because I wanted to, just, I guess, share my thoughts. And maybe I'm not a smart mark like everyone else. I don't know and I don't care. I just go by what I see. And I have shared my thoughts. And I know I made a lot of mistakes during my review. And I try to fix that as much as possible. And who knows, maybe next year I will do better. But as we get to that, I was debating whether I would talk about last year's WrestleMania. Last year was an interesting year for me personally, and, being on my own and, meeting new people, especially Killer Kyle, who I hope to do more videos with, and I have the new sign, so I look forward to doing that. But yeah, this was interesting because you get Bryan Danielson, who had retired in February, I think, and it was just, at the time I was in the hospital, and I remember watching it, and I remember thinking, I should be more emotional as he was doing his speech, but at the same time, I just thought about what I was going through, and I guess I wasn't as emotional as I should have been. But it was a sad speech. And it just goes to show you, maybe the wrestlers that are his size tend to be injured more, tend to be, I'd say injured more. And it's quite sad, unfortunately. But that's the way it is. And so he left. And the title was, I think I'll have to check it out. Again, I did the WrestleMania review last year, obviously. So I hope that some of what I say stays the same. And who knows, maybe some of it'll be different. Different point of view, if you will. But anyways, so we got the pre-show, which was Kalisto, who defeated Ryback and retained the United States Championship. I talked about how, well, maybe I didn't talk about it, but, Ryback is one of those guys who probably should have got a bigger push than he did. And unfortunately, he just never had that. And, he got the Intercontinental Championship. I think he got the Tag Team Championship as well. But he just didn't get as big push as he probably should have. And I never know why that was. I think something was a little screwy, but again, it's just one of those things where you would think they would believe in someone like a Ryback just because he was the muscle, and I thought McMahon would really like that, but I guess it just didn't work out, and Ryback walked out afterwards. So then we go to WrestleMania 32, which was WrestleMania 32, which was in Arlington, Texas, at the AT&T Center, back in Texas, because they were just in Texas Have I said Texas enough? They were, no, they were in Dallas at WrestleMania 25, so it's interesting that they came back to Texas. Anyway, so we got the WrestleMania 32, and we have a Total Divas versus Team B.A.D. So Total Divas was like Brie, Bella, Paige, Natalya, Alicia Fox, and Eva Marie, who is a waste of space. Sorry, that's just how I see it. I'm pretty sure she'll get better in the future, but right now, just no. And then they defeated Team B.A.D. and Blonde, which was Lana, Naomi, Tamina, Emma, and Sami. So, Lana is usually a manager of Rusev. She's a pretty good wrestler. I think that she should do more in the ring in the future, but we'll see as time goes by. Then we have Tamina, who we haven't seen in a while, and Emma, you know, the fucking storyline, and this is always going to piss me off, because we waited a week, so I think we waited a month for the fucking storyline of Emmalina, and fucking, she comes out, and she says, hey, I'm Emmalina, you waited so long, blah, 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 but guess what? I'm back to being Emma. So, okay. Either the storyline didn't follow through and she didn't want to be Emmalina, or she just wanted to be Emma, or whatever it was. Or, you know, who gives a shit? Because the WWE does this sometimes where they flip-flop back and forth. They did that with Brodus Clay. In a way, they brought him back, the vignettes, as him, you know, being a monster, and just being the guy with the tattoos and the anger and all that shit. And then he comes out as a disco-type dancer guy. Not what I expected, but I was, you know, through time, it was whatever. And now he's on TNA doing a hell of a lot better than he did in WWE. But anyway, so back to Emmalina. Emma is, you know, she transformed a lot through the years. But I hope she does something better, because this is ridiculous. This whole storyline bullshit didn't work out. And now she's back to being Emma. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I've just given all hope. No hope whatsoever. But that was that. Total Divas Team 1, of course. Then we get to a tag team match. We got the Usos, who defeated the Dudley Boyz. And the Dudley Boyz. So Bubba and Dudley came back at the Royal Rumble, and it was pretty cool. And then the Dudley Boyz came back shortly after. Like, he left, and then he came back with Devon. I'm a little disappointed, because here's a team who was legendary all throughout ECW, came to WWE in 2000, did a really good thing through the years, being a great tag team. They wrestled all over. They went to TNA as Team 3D. They held the championship there. They had a lot of tag team championships throughout the years in different organizations. I have no idea what happened this time. They came back, and it was like they got buried quite a bit. And it sucks. Because, you know, you can't flip-flop back and forth. And I know that Bully Ray, which had an interesting yet stupid storyline with Hulk Hogan and Aces and Eights a few years ago, that's a lot of shit that you really don't need. But when the Dudley Boyz came back, and they should have at least got a championship run, the last hurrah, if you will. the New Age Outlaws did, there's no goddamn reason why Dudley Boyz shouldn't have. But the Usos beat Dudley Boyz at this time. And so we move on to the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. Same as last year, same idea as last year. We had the champion Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Stardust, The Miz, Sin Cara, and Zack Ryder. Now, Sin Cara debuted a few years before, and originally he was Mystico of CMLL, and then the guy who was Mystico, either he couldn't speak English or he was just a plain old asshole, went back to Mexico, and so they got Hunico to play Sin Cara, obviously because the guy was a lot bigger, a little bit bigger, had tattoos, and not a prick. You know, and then we get Stardust, and I talked about that yesterday, so I won't say anything more. And then we have Sami Zayn, who was in NXT, so this was his first WrestleMania, and, you know, unfortunately, he's not very good. I mean, he was better in fucking Ring of Honor, which I still watch, but no, I mean, he's not as good as that. At least once I'd like to see him win a championship. But right now he gets his ass handed to him all the time. I mean, people call Bray Wyatt a jobber. Like, this is fucking ridiculous with Sami Zayn. Then you get Kevin Owens, who originally, Kevin Steen from Ring of Honor. He had a big feud with Jay Lethal. Beat the shit out of Jim Cornette, you know. And then his last match faced Steve Corino. And then soon after that, went to NXT. Was NXT champion. Came to Raw. Was the US champion. And now he, recently here, Intercontinental champion. And he was the Universal champion, which a lot of people shit on the belt, but when you think about it, the WWE Universe. So, kind of makes sense. But of course, he lost it to Goldberg. He's going to face Brock Lesnar for it, but it makes a lot of sense, whether anyone likes it or not. But, you know, so Kevin Owens as a champion goes in. And last year you had Daniel Bryan win the title. He lost it the next day. Oh, you know, no, actually, he had to forfeit it because he got injured. I think it was at WrestleMania too. But it's fucking retarded. It just is. There's no excuse for it. But here, so you get Zack Ryder, who became the first time Intercontinental Champion. So he celebrated in the ring. His dad came out. I have no idea how old his dad is, but the guy looks very young. And, but anyway, so, you know, it's a dream come true. Intercontinental Champion. And he took a picture with Scott Hall, who he idolized, who he did take a picture with when he was a kid, when Scott Hall was Razor Ramon and Intercontinental Champion at the time as well. So this was cool. This would have been awesome. But once again, the WWE has this fucking thing where they take a guy and they go, okay, they're small, but we'll give the fans what they want. But guess what? You're not going to keep that for very long. And we'll take it away from you. Either it's going to be the next day, or you'll forfeit it the next day, or you'll get beat the next day. And that's exactly what fucking happened. You know, I think I said it before. The WWE's It's like a friend who you get embarrassed by their actions sometimes. Most of the time, but there it is. They wouldn't have killed them to have Zack Ryder as a new Continental Champion. I don't know what the hell happened, but that's just how I see it. But nonetheless, you could still say he was your new Continental Champion, even if it wasn't for very long. Then we get Chris Jericho, and for the first time ever, AJ Styles. Now, so Chris Jericho made his debut also at the Royal Rumble, and very cool. You know, just very cool to see how this was. Because, you know, being a veteran of wrestling, coming from TNA for years, well, first he was in Ring of Honor, then he went to TNA, then he went back to Ring of Honor for probably 2 matches, and shortly afterwards, Zack signed a contract with WWE, made his appearance at the Royal Rumble. Now, at the same time, his buddies from New Japan. Oh yeah, so I forgot to mention that too. Before I forget, you know, he was in New Japan as the Bullet Club, or with the Bullet Club. So Luke Gallows and Machine Gun Carl Anderson came to WWE. AJ Styles was there, came out, reunited with his boys. And, yeah. And then later on, he went and turned on John Cena, which was a pretty cool way to do a heel turn. I think that's easier turning a heel than face, I think. But there you go. And then having a feud with Chris Jericho. But before all that, before he became heel, you know, Chris Jericho was a heel, and they had tag together, and Chris Jericho turned his back on AJ, hence them having a match. If I remember correctly, I'm not. It was either before or after Chris Jericho turned on AJ. Anyway, so Chris Jericho beat AJ up. You know, won the match. The veteran beating the other veteran, I guess. But yeah, so this was a good match. AJ's first WrestleMania. Never thought I would see AJ in a WWE ring. But, you know, finally he comes back. Then we had a 6-man tag team match. League of Nations, which had Sheamus from Ireland, Alberto Del Rio from Mexico, and Rusev from Bulgaria, with King Bear, the British King guy, you know, the guy. You know, it's funny because Wade Barrett should be the guy who became the champion. Like I said before, he should have became WWE champion a long time ago, or world champion. Hell, if he came back, I don't think it would have killed him just to be the United Kingdom champion. But, you know, I don't know how well that goes. The fact of the matter is, he should be champion. But he's gone now because WWE fucked up his character too many times. Every time he came back, it was always the same thing, and putting the Intercontinental Championship belt on him. It was like a British Chris Jericho, but anyway. So it was League of Nations versus the New Day, which was Biggie Langston, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. This time they were face, and it was a pretty cool entrance, and they had a large box of Bootios, and the box fell, and out comes the New Day. That is silly, fun, but well, you know what? I think it's cool. I don't care what anyone says. You know, the WWE has to have fun, and that's just the way it is. It is it is kind of a stereotype, you know, but there it is. You know, they're having fun at WrestleMania, and so the League of Nations, you know, they won, but they beat the shit out of New Day after the match, and who should come out but Texans' own Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels with Mick Foley as Cactus Jack. And I thought about it because I thought, why is Mick Foley there? But I think his first match was in Dallas. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess that's why. But yeah, so they beat the shit out of New Day as well. Or no, they went after League of Nations. Then they go and they celebrate the quote unquote dance with New Day before Steve Austin stuns Xavier Woods and they kick ass and then they celebrate in the ring. Which at the time probably bad taste, but it's like the old guys beating the new guys for no reason. But it was still cool to see Stone Cold in the ring. And of course, and I hate to admit it, but it was kind of cool to see Shawn Michaels. And then, of course, Mick Foley as Cactus Jack. And then we get Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose in a hardcore match. Well, no holds barred match, whatever you want to call it. And you know, on paper it sounded very cool. You had guys like Mick Foley and Terry Funk, two hardcore legends, talking to Dean Ambrose, giving him a barbed wire baseball bat and whatever Terry Funk gave him. You know, just something that I don't know how things are fucked up so well. But this back and forth feud they had was pretty cool. There was a point where Dean Ambrose ran up behind Brock Lesnar and gave him a low blow, and Brock Lesnar fell down like a ton of bricks. You know, I'm paralyzed from the waist down, and I even felt that. But, this match, the way it ended was piss poor. It could have been a little bit more imaginative, but, you know, it wasn't the best no holds barred match, but it wasn't that terrible, I guess. Could have been better, could have been worse. Now, here we go with, you had the pre-show, and then Lana came out and unveiled the new and improved Women's Championship belt. Kind of, like I probably mentioned last year, kind of resembled a red velvet cake. But anyway, she brings it out and says that it was going to be a new era and we're going to take the Divas title away. Which, for its time, you know, they called them Divas. So it would be appropriate to have a Divas belt. But it was a butterfly belt and not very... It was like a 5th grader drew that, I guess. Made it up. But this women's championship is cool, nonetheless. So we have Charlotte with Ric Flair, her father and daughter, versus Becky Lynch, who came out with her cousin, Snoop Dogg, and whatever that singer's name was that did a bad job singing her song, the theme song for WrestleMania. I don't listen to her anyway, so I don't know what I'm talking. It was just the way it was. But anyways, you get Becky Lynch as well, and wrestling for the Women's Championship. And then, of course, Charlotte retains her title, but also at the same time, instead of Divas Champion, becomes the new Women's Champion. So now we have the Women's Championship. As they have the brand split again, WWE went back to the old day. Let's make sure that SmackDown gets the Women's Championship for SmackDown, and they have the white and blue belt, which I love the color blue, but obviously, why would you change? It was crazy. But, just have that belt. You take the Raw Tag Team Championship, and then you make it red. You make the leather red. You have the Universal Championship, which is all red. This isn't a game show, it's wrestling. Team blue, team red, whatever. But yeah, so Charlotte won. And this was interesting, and despite what people like to say, I do like Charlotte's wrestling. And I think she is somewhat entertaining on the mic. But that's just me. Then we get a Hell in a Cell match, which, if Shane won, he would have control of Raw. So Shane McMahon came back to WWE earlier that year, earlier last year, and he said, okay, I'm back. I would like to have full control of Raw, because you people don't know what the hell you're doing. So Vince made the ultimatum that he could have that control if he can beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. So, it was set in stone. Shane McMahon wins, he gets control of Raw. If The Undertaker won, then fuck it. So, I guess it says here, which I forgot, Undertaker would also be banned from competing at WrestleMania again. Which is probably, Undertaker getting older, getting a lot more sore in his old age. It's probably not a bad idea that he would retire from WrestleMania. But anyways, this was a good match. I enjoy Hell in a Cell matches. It was a lot taller than I thought it would be. If it's by exaggeration, it was taller than the Hell in a Cell match with Undertaker and Mankind. But there was a point where Shane McMahon's always fearless. That's just the way it is. And I was like, watching him climb the Hell in a Cell. And I was like, no, don't even think about it. Okay. So he gets up there and then he jumps off. Now, you think that, he's gone. Like, there's issues, and so I'm not sure if he did that before or after. See, I can't even remember that. There was a point where I think it was at the end of the match, when he got carried out, and then he had the thumbs up as they got to the ramp. So, anyways, this was a good match. Tables were broken. It wasn't really necessarily any blood, but thanks to the YouTube community exposing the whole blade thing, there's not as much blood as there used to be. But this was a cool match. I think Vince McMahon also realized that he almost killed his son. Anyways, then we get the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And this time, Baron Corbin, the Lone Wolf. And Yeah, this was cool. Yeah, I like Baron Corbin. I think that the feud with Dean Ambrose, I also like Dean Ambrose as well, so it'll be hard to cheer for either one of them. But I do like Baron Corbin, and I wish, like I said before, that they would do something with the people who win the Andre the Giant Award besides give them a fucking trophy. So then we get the co-host. I think he was the co-host of Raw. I think he was the host of WrestleMania 32. I'm not sure. He always appears anyway. I think it was. So The Rock came out and he had a blowtorch. He lit The Rock sign on fire, which was pretty cool. And he came into the ring. Then he started talking and stuff like that. And the Wyatt family came out. So I thought, okay. Then there's this time to kill. I don't see any point to this. So we get a surprise match. Where we had The Rock. The Rock versus Eric Rowan. I'm not sure if Bray Wyatt came to play, but it's no, it just says that he faced Eric Rowan. Of course, beat Eric Rowan, and then that was it. So that was time well wasted. I guess it would have been fine if he just came and he chatted and whatnot, but I guess because Bray Wyatt wasn't really involved at WrestleMania this year. I mean, last year it was pretty interesting seeing him come out with the cheap Walking Dead guys to face The Undertaker, but this was okay. Because, I do like the Wyatt family. But, there it is. Rock beat Eric Rowan, and then, of course, the Wyatt family went to attack him, and then who should come out but the returning John Cena. Because Cena was out for a while, then he came back just for WrestleMania. But he did come back to SmackDown, I think a few weeks later, but yeah, so there it is, Rock and Cena standing tall. And of course, that was interesting. If, you think about WrestleMania 28 and 29 and how that shit happened. But there it is. Rock and Cena standing tall. And then we get a main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, at the Royal Rumble, you have AJ make his appearance for the first time. You have Bully Ray's appearance and return. But then you have a surprise thing. So what happened was the WWE Championship got vacated. And for the first time since 1992, you get a Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship. So, this match was cool. I think that I knew what was going to happen, and then, unfortunately, I was right. I think Triple H needs to pick which one he is. He's either the CEO of the company or the fucking wrestler that we know him and love him for. But at the same time, whatever, he makes his return to the ring once again and won the WWE Championship. So, there's back and forth with him and Roman Reigns, who won the year prior but didn't win WrestleMania 31 against Brock Lesnar because of Seth Rollins. So, we're going to have a match. Roman Reigns versus Triple H for the WWE Championship. Now, this match went back and forth. Now, beforehand, Triple H, I find nowadays, likes to come out and, his entrance is always interesting. one year, you know, he had the Knights. The next year, you know, WrestleMania 30, he had the gold skull with the crown and the red robe with the gold, whatever you want to call it. It was really cool. And then you get the year WrestleMania 31, where you have him as the Terminator guy, the shitty Terminator costume. And so this year, you had Stephanie McMahon up on top of the platform, stage, whatever, talking about Triple H and, you know, the authority and whatever. I guess. This was kind of weird. And then Triple H comes out, and that's pretty cool. And then you get Roman Reigns coming out from the crowd, as always. Interesting just to see this match. Again, just to see how Triple H can still go, and just to see how it is, I guess. But this match went back and forth really well. But it wasn't without, of course, Justice as another pun. Justice, how's it? Well, whatever. So Roman Reigns becomes the new WWE champion. So we finally get that, and yeah. So there it is. We have gone through 32 WrestleManias, or I've gone through 32 WrestleManias, and like I said, I should do research more. I thought I was smart enough to know better, but I guess I'm not. But there it is. So WrestleMania 33 gonna be at in Florida this year. Gonna be on the 3rd of April. Yeah. It'll be fun. I can't wait. And I can't wait to do a review on that. And of course, I'll be doing a prediction show with Killer Kyle for Wheels of Fury. That's where we are now. Wheels of Fury. Alright, talk to you later. Bye.